This is the morning of the 29th of March, 2026. Article on USA Today. Steve Bannon tells CPAC that Iran war is just beginning. By J. Stahl, S-T-A-H-L of USA Today, published on the 28th. Steve Bannon, the former White House advisor to President Dumpy Trump, said the Iran war may just be beginning. The ultra-conservative figure told attendees March 27 at the right-leaning conservative political action conference in Grapevine, Texas, outside of Dallas. The decision in going forward is obviously at the discretion of Trump, but told attendees that people gotta have his back. Why? He's not a military man. He doesn't have a clue what the fuck he's doing. Let's see what's in this clip. It's a short clip about Craig Island. Subtitles popping up. U.S. strikes Iran oil export hub, deploys Marines to Middle East. The U.S. hit several military targets on Craig Island, Iran's main hub for crude exports, and ordered 2,500 Marines to deploy to the Middle East. Quote, you have to be convinced that this is the right thing to do, particularly now that we're on the eve of potentially the insertion of American combat troops, Bannon said. Your sons, daughters, granddaughters, grandsons could be on Craig Island or be holding a beachhead down by the Strait of Hormuz. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Look at Steve Bannon. He needs a fucking haircut. Steve Bannon speaks during a conservative political action conference. When will the Iran war end? Not soon enough, some Americans say. Craig Island is Iran's primary hub for oil exports and was targeted once previously by U.S. military strikes. The Iran war has fractured parts of Trump's Make America Great Again movement. Notable GOP leaders flocked to the Turning Point America Fest 2025 in Arizona. Axios and CNN both reported in the last week that Trump is considering using U.S. troops to invade and seize the island. Citing unnamed sources, Axios reportedly said the administration's plan also includes a military blockade of the landmass from which most of Iran's oil exports pass through. Steve Bannon previewed a third term for Donald Dumpy Trump last year. A former West Wing aide during Trump's first term, Bannon, now a MAGA podcast star, is fresh off serving a 4-month stint in prison in 2024 and also pleaded guilty to separate fraud charges. He hinted last year there are many different alternatives for Trump to seek a third term in office, although presidential terms are limited in the U.S. Constitution. You know how he's going to do it? Same way that Roosevelt did it. He's going to create a third world war. That's the way he's going to do it. Let's listen to what Bannon says in this clip.
All likelihood is not going to endorse in this race. Why is that? Because the hard work of the grassroots community got in back of Ken Paxton. They dropped almost $100 million of negative ads on Ken Paxton. And right now in the latest poll, Ken Paxton is up by 8 points. That's a victory for you. Ken Paxton's emblematic of the grassroots, the MAGA movement throughout the nation. It's more than just an attorney general, more than just an individual. It was about the establishment causing a mess in the state of Texas, refusing to deal with it. And when Paxton came out and ran for the Senate, he didn't have to be defeated. He had to be destroyed. Just like they tried to destroy Donald Trump. And you had his back. And that's why Paxton is grinding this out to victory. I also believe there needs to be a major investigation of the Cornyn political operation, how they raised this money, who put the money in, and how the money was spent to destroy Ken Paxton. It's not acceptable. The grassroots are winning all over the place. Look in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. They're trying to shift the House to be 10-1. The Republican establishment there absolutely epically failed, and then Youngkin walked away after a horrible putting forward a campaign this last election cycle. The grassroots under Jeff Ryer, a grassroots chairman of the GOP in Virginia and the Commonwealth, have got thousands of grassroots volunteers, people just like yourself, going door to door right now. And Spanberger's landslide on April 21st looks like she could be defeated. So her entire plan to flip the House and impeach Trump and become Newsom's vice president is being thwarted right now by grassroots people. In a courtroom in Georgia right now, they've got the toughest, most expensive lawyers from the left, Norm Eisen and Abby Lowell, in a 5-hour evidentiary hearing. What? To get the evidence back, to get the ballots back. Why? The 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump, and they know it. You think they have them down there and just like in this room, grassroots people fought for 6 years. They threatened them with prison. They threatened them with bankruptcy. They threatened them to lose their jobs, lose their families, all of it. And those heroes stood in the breach. And now we have the evidence. We have the evidence that the Republican establishment did not want you to see, that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump. Everywhere you look around, the Republican establishment creates a mess that you have to go in and clean up. Amen, brother. Too good for him. Victory begets victory. The victory of Paxton will drive us forward. A victory in Virginia will drive us forward. A victory in Georgia will drive us forward to ultimate victory. Don't listen. I don't want to hear talk about the midterm. I don't want to hear talk about 2028. There are decades in which nothing happens, and there are weeks in which decades happen. We're in those weeks, one after the other, after the other, after the other. You put your shoulder to the wheel, and we're going to win. We're going to hold the House and hold the Senate and have President Trump come back to mass deportations, right? Mass deportations, to unchain Bobby Kennedy, who you're going to hear tomorrow. We have the right policies. We just need the resolve to see it through, finish what we started. Over a year ago, when Matt and Mercy decided that D.C. wasn't the right place for CPAC, they picked Texas. How providential was that? Given what happened on Proposition 10, given this long shot bet of Ken Paxton right here, right now. And you know why? The state of Texas is the jewel in the crown of the union. Where Texas goes, so goes the nation. And where the nation goes, so goes the world. Now, there have been people here that I highly respect, guys like Josh Hammer. I have on the show a lot, love his book, a good man and a smart man. But came up yesterday and attacking MTG and Matt Gaetz and Megyn Kelly and Tucker. What's important is not Candace and Tucker and Megyn Kelly or Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. What is important is you. You need to come to your own conclusion, to weigh and measure the evidence. to think about the direction of this republic, to think what America First actually stands for, to think through who are our real allies and who are out for themselves. And most importantly, you need to think about a country that puts American citizens first, that American citizens have priority over everything. People are sitting there going, oh, this person didn't come, this person didn't come. Yes, there are many great people that couldn't make it. Either they didn't want to come or they're tied up running wars and looking after the country. It doesn't matter. You came. This is the power of this movement. The only way we're going to win in November is to go back what got us through in 24, what got us through in 20, what got us through in 16. Grassroots effort, going door to door to get low propensity, lower information voters, Trump supporters to the polls. And if we do that, the Sunland Uplands is in front of us. If we don't, if we just have these quarrels and this bickering and this fighting and lose the fact of what happened in Texas in January and February, if we lose what's happening in the Commonwealth of Virginia now, if we lose the fact of 6 years of struggle in Georgia, we now have the evidence of the 2020 stolen election. If you lose what's important, then we're going to lose the country.
Enough of that. There is a plan for a third term in 2028, Steve Bannon says. Trump is going to be president in 28. He's not going to be alive in 28. I won't be either, probably. And people just ought to get accommodated with that. He told The Economist in October last year, at the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, Bannon added. But there is a plan. Yeah, World War III, that's his plan. His CPAC comments arrived less than a week after March 23rd episode of this podcast, Bannon's War Room, when he asked the Article 3 project founder and President Mike Davis if ICE presence in airports could serve as a test run for ICE's involvement at polling places in the 2026 midterm election, seen by some as a voter suppression tactic. The whole thing's a joke. I'll attach the link. Steve Bannon's, I think, nuts. He's swallowed the MAGA bullshit hook, line, and sinker. Pass along, folks. I cannot do this alone.